Hello everyone friends, this is Igor Farmer with you again, and today we're going to talk about how to make your videos go viral. I've done this several times. As you can see, I have videos with 60 million views, 40 million, 10 million, and over all my time working with YouTube, I've understood what exactly is the secret to a viral video on YouTube. So today we'll go through the entire process, starting from coming up with the idea all the way to execution, that is uploading the video to YouTube. Let's go! Just to dispel any doubts about EGOR being a really big YouTube channel. Yeah, like you're showing a big YouTube channel. Of course, if you started 10 years ago and consistently made videos, you would have succeeded no matter what. We can't do that, but you can. Show us something recent, something you've done lately. Alright, here you go. A clear example. At the end of December, my subscribers and I started running a YouTube channel. And as you can see, after just a month or two, we enabled monetization on it and started earning our first income. And now the channel is gradually growing. The income ceiling for this channel is $500 to $1,000 a day. So we really have something to strive for, and we are still consistently uploading videos to it. That's why the things I'm going to explain to you today worked before and are still relevant now. And here's the first point. The success of a video depends directly on creating a video that people will actually watch, click on, engage with, and subscribe to your channel for. It might seem like an extremely obvious idea, but many people don't even realize this. And right now it's very popular among experts to promote the idea that you can create content without your voice, without showing your face, without a camera complete automation using AI, using artificial intelligence to earn millions of dollars. But let's be objective about this. People aren't pigs or idiots who are just gonna watch that kind of content. And I completely understand that this kind of AI-generated content, well, like in this example, is basically just a compilation of random pictures of airplanes in different countries. I get that maybe 1, 2 or 3 channels had this go viral, and then everyone starts thinking, oh, if it worked for them, then maybe it'll work for me too. They start creating a channel, shoot something, maybe a couple of videos get a few thousand views, and then that's it. The channel doesn't grow, the videos don't take off, and it's unclear what to do or why this is happening. Well, it's obvious you're creating crappy content from the start, content that basically nobody needs. Lately, there's really been a lot of propaganda about how you can just do everything half-heartedly and you'll get millions. But in reality, it doesn't work that way. In reality, you need to create videos every day, no matter how you do it. Whether you're filming with your mobile phone, generating clips with neural networks, or playing through some games. First and foremost, the content has to be interesting. For example, I showed my Telegram subscribers how we're literally building a house in the forest right now. I mean, we're actually building a real full-fledged house in the forest. We decided to launch a bushcraft channel, and in order to gain some subscribers and views here, first of all, we need to put together a team that would film these kinds of videos. Secondly, we need to learn all these survival skills in the forest, at the very least. And also buy a good camera that would allow us to film everything properly. And in the end, as a result, we really did go to the forest and started building houses. Here you go, here's another video like that. And here's another example of a house that we managed to build. For now, this channel is still in its early stages. So, after some time passes, I'll show you our results, what we ended up achieving with this, or what we didn't manage to do. On YouTube, the element of randomness is also present one way or another. In any case, right now I'm showing you an example of real content. That is, a person who wants to watch a video like this, someone building something, surviving in the forest, and so almost often puts on this kind of video just to fall asleep. In other words, the more mesmerizing, the calmer and more relaxed we make this video, you know, the fewer cuts there are, and the more pleasant ASMR sounds it has, the better this video will be to watch, and as a result, the more views it will get. Yes, of course, you could slap together a video like this in 2 seconds using AI, just say generate this house and show it being built in different stages. But you understand that no one is going to watch that. That's total crap that has absolutely no point. And here I want to lead you to the first, most important, most crucial idea of today's video. Your task is to create content that meets your audience's demands. How can you figure that out? What's the context here anyway? For example, there is a channel with 1.5 million subscribers called Restoration, and we have a question: why do these videos get so many views? Alright, let's figure out together. For which target audience, with what needs, with what interests is this content being created? Let's think this through and brainstorm together. Well, first of all, we see that there are cars on the channel, so the audience is most likely going to be boys or men of any age, really. For us right now, that doesn't really matter. First and foremost, it's male-oriented content. Secondly, we notice that different types of expensive cars are most often featured here: sports cars, Lamborghinis, Mercedes, Rolls-Royce, Ferrari, and so on, including rare vintage cars. This could suggest that potentially a more mature and discerning person might watch this video. Alright, let's say we've established the first point. Content for adults. Content for men. At the same time, this content is specifically for people who admire and are interested in yes, expensive and cool cars. Let's move on. The videos last 15, sometimes even 20 minutes. And what's happening on screen? So, what exactly are they filming in order to, let's say, attract the viewer, so that they don't get bored and turn off the video? At the beginning, there's a segment where he searches for the car, then he finds it, of course takes it apart, examines every detail, unscrews everything, after which he starts cleaning it all, soaks it with baking soda, repaints it, reassembles it, and ends up with a brand new car. Cool! So basically, throughout this whole process, yes, it's kind of interesting to watch. You can really get absorbed in it. It's basically a kind of ASMR content. Not a single word was spoken in this video. And from this we can draw the following conclusions. First, we've touched on the niche of cool, sporty, expensive cars. Second, we've touched on the niche of restoration and refurbishment of things. And third, it's the ASMR niche. In other words, this content is watched by people who are interested in these three things. If we want to create a similar channel, we need to base it exactly on this. For example, okay, people love expensive things, right? They're interested in something. What if I do this not just about cars, but for example about airplanes? So why not? Or here's another idea. I'll take some kind of expensive items, like a Louis Vuitton bag or a Rolex watch, or something else that's valuable, and I'll try to remove rust from it, restitch it, restore it, recreate it in the same way, and so on. Our task is to write down a few ideas like this that come to mind. I want to emphasize that you can do this with the help of ChatGPT as well. ChatGPT come up with different ideas for YouTube videos about restoring and refurbishing various items. And there you go, in real time the neural network throws out a bunch of different options, restoring an old rusty knife, a Soviet hammer, an axe, anything at all. An old coffee grinder, giving a second life to a toy from the 80s, and so on. Now we go to YouTube and start searching. Let's say it's suggested we restore various Soviet-era items. Alright? We type it into the search and see that on average the view counts are really low. 3,000, 1,000, 6 million over 5 years. Well, okay, that's interesting. 3 years ago, 3 million views, 100,000 views. So overall you can find something here if we're talking about Soviet tools. But something tells me that restoring cars is much more interesting after all. Our next step is to list all the channels that get good view counts and then analyze the content they produce. This way we'll understand which videos we should start with and what kind of content we need to create in order for it to gain traction.
If you want to start your own YouTube channel, get it monetized, and earn like my students $200 to $300 a day, then now is the perfect time to follow the link in the description and check out my training lessons at my YouTube Academy. There, you'll choose a relevant niche for a YouTube channel without using your voice or showing your face, launch your channel in a trending topic, and of course you'll be able to fully automate all the processes. It's free for now at this moment. That's why I recommend all of you to go check it out, subscribe, and of course, finally start growing your own YouTube channel. Because right now, this particular field, making money on American YouTube, is exactly the area where you can consistently earn from $5,000 a month. And in many niches, you don't even have to create the content yourself. I've explained all of this in detail in the training. The link is in the description below the video.
There's no doubt that these two videos became turning points on my YouTube channel, so let's figure out what their secret is. What essentially is the core, the essence of these two videos. Now we're moving on to the content creation stage. It's important to understand that the niche I'm filming in is called Minecraft in real life. And here's what happens on screen. From the very first seconds, the main character finds some strange and unusual resource that doesn't exist in the game, in Minecraft. Here are the standard resource types, you can see them on screen. For those unfamiliar with Minecraft, there are diamonds, gold, something like oil, iron, and things like that. But in this video, by some miracle, it's a strange new rainbow resource. For the child watching, it's immediately interesting, they want to know what will drop out. So some kind of thing drops out, which we then reassemble into some item on the crafting table. We get a furnace, place the furnace, put something into it, craft a crafting table, and on the crafting table we also create a pixelated sword, and all of this happens in the first 40 seconds of the video. But now, of course, a large part of the audience has probably started to get a little bored. So what needs to be done? That's right, add a little bit of action. And this is where things get really interesting, where, so to speak, a kind of action begins, some sort of fight. We kill the main character, take his stuff, end up with a bunch of strange items, which we then use to create even more things, fight even bigger monsters, and so on and so on and so on. So basically, that's what this video is made of, a completely dumb, simple, uncomplicated idea. Take note, 44 million views in 4 years, that's how much attention this content has gathered. And here, a logical question arises, how do you in general build, well, a storyline? Yes, the storyline in all of this. I've identified several important patterns. Well, first of all, most often we create cool and flashy introductions that are interesting to watch. Here you go, here's the first example. Some purple guy teleports to the main character, places dynamite next to him, then teleports back, and then teleports again. Naturally, we try to interact with him somehow, attack him, but nothing happens. He teleports behind our back. So, there's a ton of action, things are happening on screen, we land the final blow, but it's not enough. We draw our sword, and lightning strikes it. And now we ourselves turn into that purple guy. So, as they say, what happens next? It's interesting to find out how the main character will get out of this situation. Or here's another vivid example. Two guys are fighting with pixelated swords in Minecraft. They kill each other. Then I take a potion and unexpectedly activate a portal, some kind of strange portal, into which we throw the potion, and it somehow transports the main character somewhere. We teleport, and then the story continues to unfold. Where did the main character end up? Naturally, a child watching this is obviously curious to find out what happens next. Throughout the video itself, we placed a bunch of different interesting moments, like what will happen next to the main character. This questionnaires, what will happen next, constantly follows the main character. For example, he dramatically encounters some character whom he can't defeat. In order to defeat him, he needs to collect certain resources there. He prepares, trains, collects resources, attacks the main villain, and finally defeats him. In other words, everything follows the classic scenario of the hero with 1,000 faces. There's even a book by that name, if you didn't know about the art of screenwriting in general. I believe that absolutely any video can be made with a plot, can be made more interesting. Most often, people tell me, Igor, well, that's impossible. How? Well, we just make crappy content where there's no plot at all. Then don't make crappy content. The main point I want to get across is that real people are watching you real people who will either watch what you create or just tell you to get lost. And I want them not to send you away, but to actually watch what you make. Even in the bushcraft niche, there's always some kind of storyline. First they showed us the coolest moments of the construction, very briefly. And right there, in this video, they explain why this guy was building the house. He was building it to protect himself from wild boars. Well, damn! What kind of storyline can you even squeeze out of this? Here you go. Here's a clear example. Like, he built a house to survive in the forest, to protect himself from wild animals. And for 20 minutes, he steadily earns money. I wonder how much he actually makes. 270 million views. Well, something around 200, 300, maybe $400,000. So he made at least 250,000 from this whole thing. Here's the main trick. Add a storyline, implement a script, and our video stands out brightly and strongly against the rest. What should the pace of a video be? This is actually an important point too, because here you go, here's a niche satisfying Minecraft content made in a program called Blender. A different number of hairs or a different texture being compressed by a piston, like a milk texture for example. Basically, anything you can imagine. It might seem like there's not much action, just some almost static images, just different renderings and so on. However, if you pay attention, even in a video like this, a certain dynamic is still maintained. That is, something changes roughly every 1 or 2 seconds. Either the character gets more hair, or the slime becomes even more liquid and so on. So basically something changes every 2 seconds. If you really try to stick to this, or at least actually feel this editing dynamic that is necessary, your videos will definitely get a lot more views. Notice that you don't even need to use any super effects, transitions, cuts or anything like that. You just need to learn how to edit well in terms of simply making the video itself dynamic. That will already be much better. Again, every topic has its own level of dynamism. Here, for example, this video is almost unedited. Only at the beginning is something slightly sped up. Within 15 to 30 seconds he draws a picture that he will later build and create using clay. And as you can see, yes, later on, every 2 or maybe even every 1 second, he just makes a cut in the video, a cut another cut, and it looks quite watchable and dynamic. Again, there are no super effects, transitions, or anything like that here. Just clear, mesmerizing content, exactly the same way as in our video. We have the bare minimum, just the bare minimum of special effects. The main focus is on the interaction between the characters and the action in the frame. And there's one more non-obvious thing that people usually just completely ignore. They just don't use it at all. It's sound design. For example, for my Minecraft channel, I have a separate folder prepared where basically each character has their own specific voice. It contains all the necessary sounds for editing. If you want to enrich, to saturate your content with sounds, with various video inserts and so on, I recommend that you prepare exactly this kind of template where all of this is already set up in advance. Sounds for images flying in, transition sounds, appearance sounds, fade out sounds, everything else should be accompanied by sounds. Many people really don't do this and the video loses its dynamism. After we've set all this up, of course, we upload the video. This was EGOR Firmer with you. Don't forget to also check out this video.